Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today's video and Blind Woman Recommends. I hope you're having a great day, and this is the follow-up video for recommendations. So this is the recommendations for After Raybearer by Jordan Ifueko. So without further ado, let's begin. Yeah, let's begin. Let's see. Hold on. I have this written. So, okay. So the first thing I recommend is the Legacy of Orisha trilogy or series. I'm gonna say series. I do know it's a trilogy, but the third book is still not out. But so yeah, the Legacy of Orisha series or slash still ongoing trilogy by Tomi Adeyemi. So, uh, if I am not mistaken, this is another story. There's another story that is inspired by African mythology. So we follow Zayli, that's our main character, and we follow her point of view along with Amari's and Inan's, because they all have different motivations. But basically, this is a world where magi, um, Magi were killed 10 years earlier, and the power of magic was basically taken away. And now the diviners, who are the children of the Magi, are enslaved to the kingdom, and they're basically pay higher taxes and or become slaves in general, um, and everything. So however, all of this changes when an artifact is found, and there's a possibility of returning magic back. And we follow Zayli, Amari, and her brother Zane as they go into a as they go kind of on a quest to find magic. But we also follow Inan, who is chasing after them and are up to capturing them and everything. So yeah, so that's the first book. The next thing I recommend is actually the Grishaverse, by Lee Bardugo. I believe this is based from what I read from an interview that was in the second book of the Grisha trilogy. This is based on Russian myth. It's interesting. So we follow Alina, who was basically a she was she used to make maps. I don't remember what the name was, and she used to do all that. And however, she ends up it ends up being that she has the power that could basically save their war torn country, and she could like save the world and everything. And she is known as the Sun Summoner, so she is taken from where she originally was to be trained by the Darkling, and in general to be trained to use her powers. So we kind of follow her story there. The next two books, the next two reads I recommend are from the same author, and that is Ash Princess and Half Sick of Shadows by Laura Sebastian. Ash Princess follows Theodosia, who has been kept prisoner for 10 years by the Kaiser, who is basically like this, I guess, king slash emperor. I guess you can call it that way. And they, she's been kept prisoner, but he ends up making her do something that could, that eventually, like it's something unspeakable that she cannot refuse. Otherwise, it would show no loyalty to him, and her life would be at risk. But due to this, she ends up starting to make a plan um, to basically get out and free her people, along with these two other friends that she has. Half Sick of Shadows is a reimagining, a feminist reimagining, I would like to add, of the Arthurian legends in the point of view of Elaine of Shalott. This is based on a poem called The Lady of Shalott by Tennyson Williams. And basically, we follow Elaine and friends as they accompany Arthur as he's about to take the throne. And she is the one that she has visions and she can see all the different possible futures. And we have to, and the question is how far she's willing to go to change her future and how much she's willing to give in that end. The next thing I recommend is also an ongoing series, and that is The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. We follow Laura, who literally only has one thought for her husband, and that is, I will bring you and your kingdom to their knees. To your knees, and that on her wedding day. She is a princess of Maradrina, who has been trained ever since she was 5 to be an assassin, and her goal is to kill the king of Ifueko, and so that her family can take over, because according to what they told her, her people are starving and they are to blame for that. However, as she ends up living in Ifueko and become its queen and all the fun stuff, she ends up realizing that what she was told was wrong, and now we see what she does with that. And the next 2 reads are also from the same author, and those are And I Darken and an ongoing series, the Camelot, or trilogy really, the Camelot Rising trilogy by Kirsten White. And I Darken follows Lada as she moves to the Ottoman Empire court with her brother, and we follow her relationships as she ends up growing up, and not to mention a couple of other things in the court intrigue. I don't really know how to describe And I Darken, guys. I read it maybe 2-3 years ago, and I still don't know how to properly describe it. But I promise you, I will read it at some point and do a review. That way, I'll let Goodreads describe it. We follow her relationships and her growth, and also her brothers as well, and how the court basically kind of shaped them in a way, and what they end up doing. So, the Camelot Rising trilogy is an Arthurian retelling which follows Guinevere, but not Guinevere, because this Guinevere is actually a changeling. She is the real Guinevere is dead, and this changeling Guinevere is taking her role, and her role is taking the dead Guinevere's role, and at the end of the day, she is to marry Arthur and be his queen, but she's also to protect Arthur. And now she has to deal with the chaining laws of Camelot, and how she and do all that stuff to try to protect them, but know that the laws technically chain her. And the last thing I have to recommend is a series, and that is 7 Deadly Sins. I love this anime. I've mentioned it at least once, I hope, in this channel. I don't know if I don't remember mentioning it, but I'm sure I mentioned it at least once. So yeah. So 7 Deadly Sins follows Princess Elizabeth, and who is on a quest in the beginning of the series, of the show, to find the 7 Deadly Sins, who are a band of knights that were accused of doing something horrible, but she wants to find them in order to free her kingdom, which was conquered by the Holy Knights. And when she ends up finding Meliodas, the captain, and they together go on a quest to find the rest of the knights and free the kingdom. It's honestly a great series. I loved this series. Anyway, those are all my recommendations for after Raybearer. If you have any more recommendations, let me know in the comment section below. What the heck? Okay, I know I was losing myself, but this much? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. I post at least on Mondays. I post that once at least on a Monday. I post at least once at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Central, and 8 a.m. Pacific. Check my description for links to playlists and social media, as well as for ways that you can request videos or suggest them. And with that, I will see you guys in my next video. Have a great rest of your day and happy reading/watching. Bye.